When you need to find information, you usually look up the information online. Most people use Google to look things up most of the time, but some people might use ChatGPT to look things up, or maybe a different search engine. Personally, I usually use Google to look up things that I need to know. What about you? How do you usually look things up most of the time? Do you look things up on Google, or do you find another way to look up things that you need? We can see here that Josh looks down on Mark. We can tell from his face and Mark's face that Josh looks down on Mark. Maybe Josh thinks Mark is weak. Maybe Josh thinks Mark is stupid. But I think that Josh looks down on him. I try not to look down on anybody that I do not know. What about you? Is there anyone that you kind of look down on a little bit? Let me know. This time, this man on the left, he looks up to the other man. He looks up to him. He admires him, right? We all have people that we look up to in our lives. What about you? Who do you look up to? Do you look up to one of your family members, or is there a celebrity, a famous person who you look up to? This woman here, she's looking forward to going on holiday. We can see she is very excited because she is thinking about going to the beach and eating watermelon, pineapples, and a drink with ice in it. So she's looking forward to her holiday. What about you? What are you looking forward to right now? Are you looking forward to a holiday, or is there something else that you're looking forward to? This man, he is looking out for snakes. You know, maybe he lives in Australia and he is being very careful, and he's looking to make sure there are no snakes around. So he is looking out for snakes, trying not to step on one of the snakes. In Australia, you do need to look out for snakes. You also need to look out for spiders as well. Where you live, what kind of creatures or animals do you need to look out for? You can tell me. Now I'm going to read a short story using the 5 phrasal verbs with the word look that we have just learned. So here we go. Steve had been looking forward to his holiday to Spain all year, and now it was almost time to go. He started by looking up the nicest places to visit there. In the end, he decided to go to Barcelona. So he looked up which hotels were available in the area. He read some useful advice online about staying in Barcelona. Apparently, as a tourist in Barcelona, it's important to look out for pickpockets on the metro. After planning for a long time, the day had finally arrived for him to go on holiday to Spain. Him and his friend looked up flights together and found a cheap one, leaving on July 21st at 10 a.m. Steve and David arrived in Barcelona at 12 p.m. and checked into the hotel they had looked up on the internet. After that, they started looking around the city. David could speak fluent Spanish. Steve had always looked up to David because he was so skilled at learning languages, while David could only speak English. However, David was not the type of person to look down on anybody else, so he did not judge Steve for only speaking one language. David and Steve traveled around Barcelona on the metro, looking out for pickpockets as they went. David looked up famous landmarks to visit on his phone and found a famous building called Sagrada Familia. They visited the Sagrada Familia and admired the incredible architecture. Apparently, there were often scammers around this famous landmark, so Mark and Steve looked out for them. In some cities, the locals looked down on the tourists, but in Barcelona the people were friendly and helpful. The two of them had a great time before flying home back to England. Steve enjoyed his time in Barcelona, and now he is looking forward to his next holiday in Paris. I hope you've learned 5 new phrasal verbs using the word look today. See you next time.